I'm Lottie.
And I'm Mark.
And this is
Showtime Shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. It's been a hot minute.
It has been a little while.
As you can, well, not see, but
Yeah.
as you can hear, we are, I mean, anyone that listens on Spotify knows no difference, but we are not on camera. Dun, dun, dun.
We are currently in my car.
We are currently recording in Mark's car. So maybe the sound will be different. Ooh.
Who knows?
Basically, we have a little, mini interview episode for you today.
Yeah.
Because we got approached by Stefan van der Graaf and Denning Burton, who are the creators of Sherlock the Musical, which is a new musical. I want to say American, but I'm also kind of like, are they Canadian? I can't remember. I actually don't know. Either way, Sherlock the Musical is a
from
thing
the Americas.
over in North America, because that covers both. There you go. Yeah, we got approached by them, and they were like, hey, do you want to talk about our new musical? And I was like, yeah,
we do.
Obviously, why not?
So, when we both got asked, they sent us some...
well, we sent them some questions.
We did. But they also sent us the album.
Yes, we're going to input some little
with some little clips. But you can find the whole album on Spotify.
Can you?
Yes, you can. It's very good.
Did you find it?
I've listened to it.
I'm terrible. I haven't.
Well done to you.
I will.
It's very good. I highly recommend everyone to have a nice little listen. As a musical theatre lover, it's always great to have a listen.
There it is. Found it right here and now. Okay.
It's literally Sherlock the Musical. It's not hard to find.
Before we record the questions, now I'm going to go listen to it. Just yeah.
FYI.
I am not a horrible person. I just haven't had time. So I'm going to listen to that.
She's been busy.
now.
She's been a busy gal in New York City.
I've been in North America.
Hey,
Your voice
not
just
going.
didn't. Anyway. Yes, so we are, without further ado, we are going to interview Denning Burton and Stefan van der Graaf. Did you see I switched it up? I said it the other way around.
Crazy lady.
About Sherlock the Musical. So enjoy.
Hi, we are the creators of Sherlock the Musical. I'm Denning Burton, and we are super happy to be on your show.
So, can you tell us about your musical? Is the story based on any of the original Sherlock books, or is it a brand new plot, or what's up with that?
Stefan and I discussed this quite a bit when we originally had the idea for the musical. We wanted to know whether we should base it off of a particular mystery, one of our favorites from the books, or maybe one of the ones that we had seen in the movies, or whether we would create a brand new plot. And what we decided on is kind of actually a hybrid. We really wanted our musical to be a fresh experience for fans. There are people all over the world who love Sherlock Holmes, and there's been a lot of different depictions of the character, and so we wanted to portray something fresh and something new that people could really enjoy and be caught up in the mystery of it and not know what's going to happen in the end. And so what we came up with was kind of a hybrid of the two. We read a lot of the short stories, and we've included a lot of the plot elements of a short story in a new overarching plot, the way that it plays out. So people will definitely recognize different scenes or different clues from some of their favorite Holmes mysteries, but the experience should still leave them asking what is about to happen next and keep them a little bit on the edge of their seat.
So can you tell me why you decided to write a musical adaptation of Sherlock?
This is Stefan van der Graaf. So actually it was Denny's initial idea to write an adaptation of Sherlock and to turn it into a new musical. Obviously it's been done before. And I think that Denny and I would agree that the decision to do it comes from just a general love for Sherlock and Watson and the Arthur Conan Doyle stories. Both of us grew up reading them as kids or having family members read them to us even before we were reading them ourselves, and just fell in love with it as well as the rest of the world. He's one of the most depicted and iconic characters in all of literary history. And it just felt like in our lifetime there hadn't been a Sherlock musical on Broadway, and it was certainly an inspiration to say, maybe we could attempt to do that ourselves. And so Denny had the idea first and foremost and brought it to me and invited me to be a part of it. And of course, I couldn't say no with an offer like that.
So what kind of research did you do for the show to make sure it was accurate? Did you enjoy doing the research also? Because I feel like looking into that kind of era that it's set in could be quite interesting.
One of the things we really wanted to accomplish was to portray the classic characters that we're used to: Sherlock Holmes, his companion John Watson, Mrs. Hudson, some of these other characters we've known and loved for quite a long time. We want to portray them just in this medium of a musical, while also being a new take, as there were several other Sherlock musicals throughout the last couple decades. And so one of the things that we set out really early to do was we decided we wanted to keep it true to the short stories and to the books and to the heart of the characters. So we dove in, and before we even put any words down to paper, we wanted to go back. We read a lot of the short stories. We talked about, the characters themselves in the books, their relationships to each other, and what makes Sherlock mysteries so fun to read. So most of our source material came from the original works, and then we've seen, the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlocks and the Benedict Cumberbatch, and as far back as Basil Rathbone and some of those classics, and there's so much to draw from. So we really did feel like we were standing on the shoulders of giants, and it was so entertaining. It was so fun to go back and see all of the different depictions of this duo in different frames of mind and different people's takes from the creative side of it. And so it was super enjoyable. And then we had to sit down and say, okay, here we are. We're going to make this musical. How do we make it? How do we build on what they've done before us? So we hope that fans of the short stories, the original works, and fans of, even the newest depictions in the Sherlock universe will be able to take a look at what we've done, see the stuff that they love, and be able to enjoy more of just the delightful canon of Sherlock Holmes.
So, can you tell me what your favourite song is from the show and why?
That's a really hard question. It's like asking a parent who their favorite child is. But what I will say is that Denny did such a masterful job of creating a show that at different times in your life, different songs will speak to you, that my favorite song has probably evolved. Streets of London has always been up there as one of my favorites.
Streets of London hide nothing from Sherlock's eyes. This darkening plot is not what you thought, so are you watching close enough, Nick?
Love Someone is a newer song that was added to the show, but is also just a truly beautiful song.
The greatest conclusion yet, when all is said and done. Love someone.
But I would say that the prevailing song that has somewhat consistently been one of my favorites is On the Surface. And I just think that it's a really powerful, moving song. It's a great ensemble number, and it just shows an emotional side to the people that we so frequently just sort of scurry past in the Sherlock lore. But it tries to shed some light on the state of Victorian era London and people who are oftentimes overlooked. And I think that that is a theme that resonates really deeply in the show itself, but it also just has such a valuable meaning outside of that. And I think that there are valuable lessons to learn from that song. And then beyond that is just the musicality of it, strictly. The composition itself, I think, is really beautiful. And I think it's catchy and memorable and poppy, but it doesn't lack in substance. And that, to me, is the mark of a truly special piece. And so that one would be my favorite.
But we've got dreams and they're gonna find us. Underground in our soul, that's what defines us. You could discover a world hiding underneath, but they only see what's on the surface.
If you could cast anyone in the world for Sherlock and Watson, who would you cast and why?
I love this question. If I could cast anyone in the world for Sherlock and Watson, that's a great question. It's always fun to think about different people. Every actor brings their own flavors to a production, and their own, I don't know, background and talent and experience just create almost a new character. And that's what's so fun about writing a musical, and the way that we've been able to see, the film that's coming out on April 26th is our third iteration of the Sherlock musical. And so I don't know. I just think that that's so fun that you get to, see the different people bring each of their different aspects to it. And so I think some people that I love to see play these roles. I've been a really big fan of Leslie Odom Jr. Ever since I saw him in Hamilton. I really love his voice, and I think his character choices are very interesting. And so for the role of Sherlock, I think it'd be very interesting to see what he would do with the character. And the other person that I saw the 2016 revival, the filmed version of She Loves Me. And that's just a beautiful musical. And I would love to see what Zachary Levi would do with that same role. It'd be different, and it would be so interesting to see. So I think he's an extremely talented actor, and his vocals are just incredible. So those are two people I think would be interesting to see in the role of Sherlock Holmes. That's who I would cast, one of those two. And then as far as Watson goes, I was also really impressed in that same 2016 revival with Nicholas Barish. I think that his portrayal, his character type is just so endearing, and his voice is really strong. I'm very excited to see him in Hadestown on his tour. And hopefully there's a recorded production if I can't get to a live one. But I think watching him take the role of Watson would be very interesting. And yeah, I can't wait for the future iterations of this show's cast to see what they do with the characters that we've written, and how they change the story because of it, and how they add to it. Everyone adds their own unique gifts and talents. So those are some of the people I would love to see in the roles.
So, can you tell us any details about the show's next moves, where and when we can see it, and is there a cast recording coming out soon?
Okay, details about the show's next moves and where, when you can see it, the cast recording, etc. So, the great news is that the entirety of the current cast has recorded, and we have released that music for free on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube Music and anywhere else you might stream music. So you can look for Sherlock the Musical right now on any of those streaming sites and be able to play the entirety of the cast recording of the album. On top of that, on April 26th, we are going to be releasing the entirety of the show via a filmed version of the musical that we filmed in a sort of black box theater style with very minimalist sets and props, but to really just try to showcase the piece and the story and music, especially that the cast brought to light so brilliantly. And that will be on YouTube and Facebook and will be free to stream from the moment that we release it on April 26th. And you can go and watch it then, and hopefully you will enjoy it. We would love for your feedback. But beyond that, Denny and I have always maintained that the show is best suited to be seen live. And we are in talks with a number of theaters right now around the world, actually, of having the show open in various countries. But the goal, of course, is to see it live. And so next, after this, we hope that pretty soon fans will be able to start to see the show live. And the real dream at the end of the road, the pot of gold for us that we look forward to and aspire to achieve someday, is to be able to open on West End. We think that Sherlock is a London character and deserves to go back to London. at least for the first time in several decades since the last Sherlock musical was created. And so we think that it's long overdue, and it's time that he gets an opportunity to have a theater showcase his amazing stories once again in London. And so that really is the dream for Denny and I. So all of that is to come, hopefully. But in the meantime, you can go and listen to the cast recording, and very soon here you'll be able to watch the entirety of the stage musical via the film version that we made just late last year.
Just wanted to say thanks for having us on the program. It's really exciting to be releasing our material from our musical out into the world, and we're really grateful to have been able to chat with you about the musical, and we hope that your listeners will enjoy it. Thanks so much for having us on.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed the little interview there. It was lovely to get to know more about the Sherlock musical, and I cannot wait to see what happens next with it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, to be honest.
Yeah,
and
so...
sorry.
I know what you're going to say.
I was just going to say it's just interesting hearing from people about new musicals, because, we need new musicals in this world.
It's always good to hear about a new musical.
Especially when it's something, it's a show about characters we know and love, and like such a classic.
Get your teeth into it,
You can not relate, that's not the right word, but like when you know it already, it's nice that we've got like an extra bit of media for that subject. Do you know what I mean? Smart.
And I don't think there are any like Sherlock musicals prior to this one, so it's nice to have a new musical.
That's exactly what we just said.
Yeah.
You're just repeating what we're saying.
No, I was going to say, my point just went off rail and I just lost my brain cells.
So I think with that, it might be time to end.
But also, I would like to say a massive thank you for the writers of Sherlock Musical for reaching out to us.
Yes, thank you to Denning Burton and Stefan Vandergraaf for reaching out. And there is traffic going past.
But also,
sorry about that.
Thank you for letting us listen to your album, and thank you for making us aware of it.
Yes, and hopefully all our followers can go and listen. And also, I hope you enjoyed the little interview with, obviously, us English people, because, Sherlock is English, so that's always good fun. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up.
So we're English,
follow us. Follow us on all the things, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed the little mini interview. We're going to try and pick up on the interviews again, but, life just happens.
We've been a little bit busy recently.
We've been a tad busy. I've been travelling and working. You've been working. You're going travelling. That sounds like we're, travelling the world. We're literally both going to the same place. Broadway, Betty!
Woo!
But yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening, guys. And gals and everyone else in between.
All the things, all the people.
We love you all.
And, we'll see you fairly soon. Bye.
Bye.